Okay.
Uh-huh.
Ready to go.
Okay. Shavua Tov, good tevach. A good week full of nisim. Like Shabbat HaGadol, and Svarim right, it's called Shabbat HaGadol because of the nisim that began. All the nisim of Yitzhak Mitzrayim began on this Shabbat. And therefore, from now on, it's only nisim. Be'ezrat Hashem, we shall only be zeichet to great nisim. We're by the Mishnah on Chavchet, Amud Bet, 28b. Says the Mishnah Kedosha, Ptilat ha-beged shekipla, velo hivhava. A ptila of a beged, of a wick made out of a clothing. Okay, you take a wick out, shekipla, that you folded. So now you kind of like you're starting to show through your actions that it's not a beged anymore. You're folding it up. Okay? And now, velo hivhava. But you didn't do a complete job of creating this into a wick because you did not yet singe it. What we do is we singe the wick so that it should light beautifully. If you don't singe it, it's not the nicest light. So you kind of did something. You were kipla, but you're not hivhava. You folded it, but you did not singe it. Rabbi Eliezer Omer Tmeahi. So there are two machloket in the Mishnah. One is about Tumah and Tahara, and the other one is, can you use it on Erev Shabbat to light for the Shabbat candles, for the Shabbat Nerot. So Rabbi Eliezer has an opinion about both things. Omer Tamei Ahi. First of all, it's Tamei, ve'ein madlikim ba. So in order to remember Rabbi Eliezer, you remember it's like he's the negative. He says it's not tahor, it's negative, it's Tamei, and you can't light it. Okay? Rabbi Akiva Omer, Tohorayu madlikim ba. It's tahor and madlikim ba. It's good, it's great, you can light it, it's tahor. What do these two things have to do with anything? What do they have to do with each other? So the simple pshat Rabbi Eliezer is that, okay, so the Gemara will explain right now. It says the Gemara, Bishlam le'inyan tumah b'ha pligi. I understand the machloket very well in regard to tumah. The Rabbi Eliezer savar kipul eino mo'il. Rabbi Eliezer holds folding doesn't help anything. Uve miltei kamaita kaima, and in its original status it stands. Which means if you fold the beged, that doesn't make it non-beged anymore. A beged is something that can contract tumah. The only way to make it not contract tumah is if you destroy the beged. Folding it to make a wick is not enough. Therefore it's tameh. Rabbi Akiva savar, no, kipul mo'il, uvtule batil. He says it nullifies it from being a beged. So what do you have left? You have some cloth over here. Cloth is not enough to become tameh. Okay? Now, even if it's 3 by 3 finger hand breadths, that's only if it's still a beged. Okay, that's only if it's still like a patch for aniyim. But this, says Rabbi Akiva, that's exactly the machlok. Rabbi Akiva says, he folded it already, he's trying to make something, it's not even that. So that's gone. So therefore it's tehorah. So the Gemara says, so now we understand the machlok between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva in regards to tumah. But, says the Gemara, ela le'inyan hadlaka b'may pligi. But what does that have anything to do, or maybe it doesn't? Maybe the first machloket had nothing to do with the second machloket. The Gemara cannot think of why one would say, you should light with it, you shouldn't light with it. Who cares if it's tameh or tahor? You're not allowed to light things that are tameh. Only tahor. You want to use this for a wick. Erev Shabbat, what's wrong with it? Why would Rabbi Eliezer say you can't use it? I guess that would be, okay. Says the Gemara, Elinyan hadlaka b'may pligi. Amar Rav Elazar, Amar Rav Oshia, v'chein Amar Rav Ada bar Ahava. And we're going to call this territory of Ada bar Ahava, but it was said in the Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Oshia also. Hacha begimel agimel mitzumtzamot askinan. Uviyom tov shechal liot erev Shabbat askinan. Okay? We're talking about a little piece of cloth. It's exactly, it's very important, that word. 3 by 3 finger, the width, finger width.
That's what mitzumtzamot means?
Mitzumtzam means exact. Like, right? Mitzumtzam. Exactly 3 by 3. Okay. Still very hard to understand. And we'll follow. Yom Tov, it's talking about on Yom Tov. You want to light for Shabbat candles, it's on Friday afternoon, but today is Yom Tov. Yom Tov, okay? So now what's the issue? So the issue is like this. The Kuli Alma Ituhud Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar Mastikin Bekelim Ve'e Mastikin B'Shivre Kelim. Okay, little background. Put like 3-4 things together, and then you'll be able to understand the machloket. There's a machloket. We mentioned this before. If there's muktzah or no muktzah. And you say, what do you mean? We hold muktzah. We actually hold there's no muktzah. We hold like Rabbi Shimon. But Rabbi Shimon says there are some cases of muktzah. Those exceptions are the many, many muktzahs that we have. Rabbi Yehuda holds, and he's called the man that doesn't hold the muktzah. Rabbi Yehuda holds much, we're going to learn about it later on, Bezrat Hashem, much later on in the masechet. We'll spend like a week, mamash, 7 blot on it. Muktzah, its own world. And you'll see there, Rabbi Yehuda has a much broader interpretation of the word muktzah, is just very broad. He also holds of something called nolad. It's under the same umbrella. Nolad means something that is born on Shabbat. So basically, muktzah means set aside from your mind. And not the opposite of mukhan. Mukhan means prepared. So Rabbi Yehuda says, if something is there, but not in the way that it was there before Shabbat, so it was created as a new entity in the middle of Shabbat, or Yom Tov, so it's called nolad. Nolad means it was born. Ah, new thing here. So, did you prepare this new thing before Shabbat? No, I wasn't here. Oh, so it was like muktzah. It was set aside in your mind. It wasn't prepared because it wasn't here. So therefore, he holds it's istur. It's prohibited like muktzah. Nolad is prohibited. Okay, and that's why he says that if you want to make a fire on Yom Tov, by all means take kelim. You need fuel. Take the chair, throw it in the fire. Let's say it's you don't care about this chair so much. You use it, take the chair, it's a fine chair. Is it muktzah? No. It's mukhan, the opposite of muktzah. Because I was going to use it before Shabbat. Take the chair, throw it in the fire. No problem. But shivrei kelim is broken kelim that happened on Yom Tov. On Yom Tov itself. So, it's a broken chair. So, this piece, you don't say, well, it was part of something that was not muktzah. That's what the Gemara speaks about on Daf Kuf Chav Daled. At the end of the day, that's called nolad. It's a brand new thing here. I never prepared this brand new just piece of wood. And therefore, it's muktzah. So you can't light a fire and use it as fire fuel because you can't move it. You just can't use it. It's muktzah. Okay? So now the Gemara says, we'll put all these things together and we'll see it's going to be very, very simple. It says Gemara, the Kuli Ama Isuhud Rabbi Yehuda. Both Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Eliezer of our Mishnah agree with Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar that says Mastikin bekelim ve'e Mastikin b'shivre kelim. You're allowed to make fire with kelim because they're not muktzah, they're mukhan. But not with shivre kelim, not with broken kelim because they're muktzah, they're nolad. Everyone agrees that there's an isur nolad in our Mishnah. Okay. Udekule alma itluhu ula. And everyone holds of ula. Ula was one of the last Gemara we learned in the last parak. The Amar Ula, Hamadik tzarech sheyadik b'roiv hayoytze. I don't know if you remember that. But he said you have to make sure that you don't have to work on this wick anymore. So one of the halachot that Ula says you have to make sure that most of it is lit. B'roiv hayoytze, most of what is protruding out of the wick, of the whatever, of the nair, most of it is lit. Okay? You don't take your hand away till it's all the way lit. Aha. So now, how do you light Shabbat candles? You put the fire on. You don't just remove it right when it catches. You stay there. Make sure most of that whole thing is lit. Aha. So now, listen to this. So now, it's an amazing teretz. One is contingent on the other, which means there's two halachot. Rabbi Eliezer said it's tamei and don't light it. Kiva said it's tahor, so light it. It's not just two random machloket, according to this answer. It's one is contingent on the other. Do you know why you could light it? You cannot light it according to Rabbi Eliezer? Because it's tamei. According to Rabbi Kiva, do you know why you could light it? Because it's tahor. What's the pshat? It's like this. What does it mean it's tamei, according to Rabbi Eliezer? Why is it tamei? Because he said, kipul eino mo'il. Folding it doesn't remove its status as an article of clothing. And just like when it was clothing, it was able to be mikabel tumah, nothing changed. It's still a piece of cloth, a real good clothing. And how big is it? Perfect size. 3 by 3 fingers. Oh, it's a good patch. The fact that you folded it doesn't remove anything. Still a good patch. Tameh. Oh yeah? So when does it become not a keli, not a beged anymore? By the first drop that gets burnt. You know why? Because now, how big is it? It's 2.99999. Right? So now what is it? Now it's 2.99999. Right? 2.999 is not a beged. So right now, at this moment, sorry. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So right now, at this moment, it's tada. Thank you. Now it's 2.999. So what is it? It's not a keli anymore. It's a shever keli. Now it's nolad. It's nolad. You didn't have this. You used to have a nice keli. Now you have a piece of junk. It's just a piece of garbage now. Because no one uses it for a patch. Thank you very much. The smallest number of a patch. What's the smallest thing that people use? 3. Not less than 3. So you had a keli. Today's Yom Tov also. Erev Shabbat. Okay? Remember, you have to be careful with muktzah. It's not just a regular Friday. There's no muktzah. It's Yom Tov already. Oh, it's Yom Tov. We're learning Hilchot Yom Tov. We're getting ready for Pesach. So, shever kelim, you don't say, oh, well, it was part of a keli. No. A shever keli is nolad. It's muktzah, according to Rabbi Yehuda. So the second you start lighting it, 2.9, shever keli. But so you say, okay, I'm not touching it anymore. Second it becomes sugar. No. Ula taught us you have to hold it down till most of it is lit, so that you make sure that it's a good light. Otherwise, you're going to come to tilt. You can't do that anymore because now it's muktzah.
It was muktzah before he lit it.
It wasn't before he lit it. It was 3. It was a keli. Masikin bekalim. You're allowed to light a keli. But the second you light the first drop, it becomes less than a beged. Now it's called a shever keli, a broken keli. It's garbage. So it's muktzah. Why is it muktzah? Because it's nolad, a new thing that I never prepared. I never prepared this garbage.
Only because he took his hand back, he can't do it.
No, even if he didn't put his hand back.
Even at the light?
Nope. Let's say he tries to keep his hand there. So after he lights the first drop off, now what is he touching the whole time with his candle? He's touching a keli or a shever keli? Shever keli, it's muktzah. Get your hand off. Get my hand off? So then I'm not going to be able to fulfill ula that says Roiv HaYotzei. So ein madlikin ba. Is that amazing? You take 3-4 halachas. You see, it's worth coming to the whole world to hear this halacha. To see Amnon smile, it's worth coming to the world, Rabbatai. We are we're Yidden. We have to mamish make a tanzler right now. We have to dance. You have the Torah. The whole Torah is kedai just for this one halacha, and it's brought down in Svarim that every single din in the Torah has all the dinim included. You see how one din has so many dinim, but really, everything has all the Torah in it. So it's a gewaldige thing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam she'akol nהיה b'dvaroi. Do not use this for Abba Kosot. Because according to the Ramban Shita, you have to drink most of it. Okay. So anyways, okay, so let's read that inside now. Again. We're talking about 3 by 3 exactly. The kuli alma itluhu Rabbi Yehuda. Everyone holds of Rabbi Yehuda the amar mastikim bekalim, but ve'ein mastikim b'shivre kalim because it's no lad. Ude kuli alman. Everyone also itluhu the ula holds of ula the amar ula hamadlik tzarich sheyadlik birova yotzeh. They have to actually light most of what's protruding outwards. So Rabbi Eliezer that savar kipul enomai, like we said before, and therefore it's tamei. So the kivan the adlik bepurta. Once you light it a drop. Havile shever keli. Puta's a little. It becomes a broken keli, which becomes muktzah. V'chika madlik b'shever keli ka madlik. You're not allowed to use muktzah to light. You're not allowed to light muktzah. It's muktzah. Yeah. But for Rabbi Akiva, he's on the opposite side. Savar kipul mo'il. Ve'en torat keli alav. The kipul helped. So even though it's 3 by 3, it's already not a beged. Okay? So it's not a keli. It's nothing. It's already a shever keli before. Right. The ain't torat kli alav. Now, Rashi says a very important thing. When did he, now, you say, 1 second, maybe he only folded it today. So maybe he only folded today. So it's no lad, because it was 3 by 3 before you folded it. The folding is what makes it not a beged, but it was, but it's no lad. It's a shevet. No, Rashi says it had to be that this case is talking that you folded it before Yom Tov, because Rashi brings another Gemara in Beitzah that says that you're not allowed to fold up a wick, and to make a wick out of a cloth and fold it on. That's like building. You're not allowed to do that on Yom Tov. So when do you do it? Yesterday. So you did it yesterday on Erev Yom Tov, let's say on Thursday. Today is Friday, it's Erev Shabbat, but it's also Yom Tov. I already made it not a keli yesterday. Rashi says it can't be you did it today. The Gemara doesn't even speak to that, but Rashi says al karchach. Okay? So therefore, no, so now listen to this. So now, if you have a shever keli from yesterday, listen how beautiful Rabbi Kiva is. I didn't tell you how beautiful Rabbi Kiva is. So then it's not no lad. Because when did it turn to a shever keli? Before Yom Tov. So before Yom Tov, let's say I take this chair, and before Shabbat or before Yom Tov, I break it up, and I say, oh, I got great firewood. I tell my family. So yeah, it's no lad Erev Yom Tov, but now it's not no lad suddenly in the middle of Yom Tov. It's muchan. Before Yom Tov started, I have wood chips. It's a kipul mo'il. Since the kipul that I did on Thursday, everybody says Rashi said it had to be on Thursday. So therefore, I made basically a shever keli, but I don't have the halachic problem of shever keli, which is no lad, because I was prepared it in my mind before Yom Tov. So now comes Yom Tov, say pass the firewood that I prepared before Yom Tov. It's not muktzah at all. Because it didn't happen in the middle of Yom Tov when you light it and it goes down to 2.9. This was made into a broken thing before Yom Tov. So it's prepared in my mind. So light it. You have to do Roi V'Yotzei? Go ahead. Roi V'Yotzei. It's firewood. It's not muktzah. Rabbi Akiva savar kipul mo'il ve'ein torat keli alav. It's not a keli when Yom Tov starts. V'chika madlik be'etz ba'alma kamadlik. He's just lighting with a piece of a wood chip. Amar Rav Yosef, Haynu de Tanina Gimel Agimel Mitzumtzemot. This is a beautiful, this is almost like the page before. Rav Yosef said, now we know what the brisa of Lo Yuchshuru L'Mlechet Shamayim El Oir Behema Tohira Bilvad. He's trying to figure out what it's talking about, the Tachash, the this halacha, that halacha. It's very interesting that same page it says, now we understand the brisa. There was a brisa that said that this Mishnah is speaking about Gimel Agimel exactly. And no one knew why it has to be like that. Now we know. Now we know because, meaning for the halachot of Tumah and Tahara, you don't really need to be exactly 3 by 3. You could say it's a little more than 3 by 3 and just say, I hold Kippur helps and you hold Kippur doesn't help. So I say Tamei Tahor. But then to now extend it to the halacha of yes madlikin and not madlikin, that's why the Braita said that the Mishnah is talking about Gimel Gimel Mitzvum Tzomis. Rabbi Ada Bar Hava comes out beautifully. Now I understand the Braita. Okay, so now, and the way Rashi says it is like, it was even harder to understand. He's like, I didn't understand it till now. You know why? Because anything that's 3 by 3 is already enough to make tamei, right? So 3 by 3 exactly? What, more than 3 by 3 not? What's going to happen more than 3 by 3? Then Rabbi Eliezer is going to say tahor? That's what Rashi says. That's why I couldn't understand it. But now I know that's not the pshat. The reason is because he made it 3 by 3 exactly, because if it was a lot bigger than 3 by 3, let's say it was this size, so now this is my wick, right? Let's say this is my wick, and I light it, even though I go down to Roiv, I never made it yet a Shever Keli, because it still has 3 by 3 in there. So there's nothing that's like a brand new thing of Noilat. But I had to make it into a Shever Keli, that's why I had to be exactly 3 by 3 when I started off. Now I understand, it says Rav Yosef. Okay. It says the Gemara, now the Gemara has a problem. Since Rav Ada Bar Hava answered up this Mishnah, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva, right? Now, even if you don't want to go like Rabbi Eliezer, we go like Rabbi Akiva over Rabbi Eliezer, right? But we're going to go like this Mishnah, one of the two, right? It's Rabbi Akiva. But he's making them both work with Rabbi Yehuda that holds of Nolad. Rabbi Akiva is saying, I understand Nolad, but mine is not Nolad because mine is Tahor. So that means that Rabbi Akiva, so the Gemara said, everyone holds of Rabbi Yehuda. So it sounds like Rabbi Ada Bar Hava is trying to make Rabbi Akiva, which we're going to rule like, go like Rabbi Yehuda's opinion in the halacha of Nolad. The problem is, Umi Amar Rav Ada Bar Hava Hachi, V'ha Amar Rav Ada Bar Hava. Rav Ada Bar Hava himself said, Nachri shechakak kav b'vik'at Yisrael, a goy that on Yom Tov itself, he carves out a chunk of wood from a Jew, a piece of, let's say, a log, then the Jew could say, oh, thank you so much. Thanks, you did that? It's so nice of you. Masikim Yom Tov. So now he can use that on Yom Tov because he didn't do anything wrong. The guy did it. And now the Jew can take that piece of wood and use it for firewood. How could Rav Ada Bar Hava say that? The same Rav Ada Bar Hava, va'amai noladul. It's nolad. And the only one that says that nolad is okay is Rabbi Shimon. So here it sounds like Rabbi Ada Bar Hava is going like Rabbi Shimon. The problem is that he just interpreted our Mishnah as both going like Rabbi Yehuda. So the Gemara says, "L'divreim de Rabbi Eliezer v'Rabbi Akiva kamele, v'leilos tzvirele," which means this that Rav Ada established our Mishnah according to Rabbi Yehuda is because he understood that that's the only way he could understand the Mishnah. That's what he felt. He says, okay, so this Mishnah will go like Rabbi Akiva and go like Rabbi Yehuda. I have no choice. But Rabbi Shimon will argue with this whole Mishnah. Because Rabbi Shimon doesn't have a problem with Nolad anyways. So even if Rabbi Shimon would hold of Rabbi Eliezer that it's tamei, there wouldn't be an issue anyways of the nolad. And therefore you would still be able to light it even according to Rabbi Eliezer. Okay? Which means he interpreted our Mishnah that way because that's what he felt was the truth. But it doesn't mean that he ruled like that. How could he not rule like our Mishnah? Because Rabbi Shimon argues with our whole Mishnah. Our whole Mishnah is predicated on Rabbi Yehuda's Shita of Nolad. Okay? Rav Amar, Hainu time with Rabbi Eliezer. You want to know why Rabbi Eliezer says Nupshat? Ready? Why he says don't light? He says very simple. Just a new law. One of the laws that we learned, we're learning a lot of laws of what makes a good light, which type of materials. There's another halacha. You cannot ever use on any Shabbat, nothing to do with Yom Tov. It was not Erev Shabbat. This Mishnah is not talking about Yom Tov on Erev Shabbat. He says the answer is that it means all the Shabbatot of the year, even the ones that don't have Yom Tov on Erev Shabbat, you may not use a non-singed wick. Because we're worried that a non-singed wick won't light nicely.
What's singed, John?
Singed, I'm sorry. I said that before. I don't know if everybody understood. Singed, I think, in English means mechurechet, you burn it first. Okay? Let's look at the Mishnah again. Tilata beged shekipla velo hivhava. You didn't burn it before. So everybody agrees, by the way, that's what we said before. Now people didn't understand what I meant by singed. Let me just go back to the halacha of tum and tara for a second, right? Everyone would agree, even Rabbi Eliezer would agree, that if you did singe it, hivhuv, then it wouldn't be tameh. You know why? Because you did enough of an act. You say, well, folding doesn't really take it away from being a piece of clothing. Fine, but burning it does. You singed it. Right? Okay. And so the Gemara is saying now, the reason why Rabbi Eliezer says you don't use it is because it's not going to light nicely.
What's below the smartutin?
Smartutin, sorry, is like shmatis, like rags. That's what I think it means. She'ein al-mechurachin, that are not burnt before, scorched, singed before. Okay? Brand new reason, nothing to do with that. So the Gemara says, Rava is saying, so now like there's two separate things going on in the Mishnah. Machloket tuma v'tara. If kipul, folding it alone, without burning it, without destroying it from being a beged, is enough to make it already tahor, because you destroyed its status as a beged. And then there's another halacha. Can you light something that wasn't prepared well, that it's not going to light so nicely before? Rabbi Eliezer says don't, because the Chachamim wanted, I think because of the same gzeirus as the rest of the perek. Because you're going to come to fix it on Shabbat. It's not lighting nicely. Rabbi Kiva says they never made such a gzeira. The problem is that Breita that said that our Mishnah has to be speaking about 3 by 3 exactly. Of Rav Yosef. Why? So the Gemara says, Le'inyan tuma the Tanan Gimel Agimel Shomru Chutz Min Hamalal Div Rabbi Shimon v'Chacham Oimrim Gimel Agimel Mechuvanot. This 3 by 3 rag patch that we keep speaking about, that's tamei. There's a machloket in masechet kelim between Rabbi Shimon and the Chachamim of what size exactly is 3 by 3. So you say, what do you mean? 3 by 3 is 3 fingers by 3 fingers. So Rabbi Shimon says it's chutz min hamalal, and Rashi explains like this: malal means the fold. The way the people would sew clothing was that around the stitches they would fold it a little bit. Okay, and then they would stitch it. So Rabbi Shimon says like this: This patch, where was that napkin I had before? Flew away, maybe. Oh, here it is. Okay, you have this exactly, okay? This is, let's say, is exactly 3. This is about the size, by the way. This way. Maybe a little smaller. I would say this is about the size. So now, when they would use this as a patch, so Rabbi Shimon says, it has to be a little bit more than 3 by 3. Because they're going to, if it's exactly 3 by 3, let's say this whole thing is 3 by 3. Okay? If you use it as a patch, what they're going to do is, they're going to fold it a little bit over here, on the edges, and then sew it. So the patch at the end will be 2.8, 2.9. You have to be left with a 3 by 3 after the fold, after the stitch, after they use it as a patch. Okay? The Chachamim say no. Even if it starts off 3 by 3 and after you finish sewing it's going to be less than 3 by 3, that's fine. That is a 3 by 3. That's the right size. And that's fine. So, what's going on over here is that our Mishnah is saying, not like Rabbi Shimon. That Braita is saying that Rabbi Elazar said, it's Tamei, because folding it doesn't destroy its status as a beged, is what? Is, even if it's 3 by 3 exactly. That's all. It doesn't have to be more than 3 by 3. It's just a separate halacha. It doesn't have to be more than 3 by 3. It doesn't have to be 3.1, 3.2. That's all the Bryce is saying. Meaning that this Mishnah, the Bryce is saying, Rabbi Eliezer is going, siding with the Chachamim and not Rabbi Shimon. Okay. Now we go back to the Nolad that we spoke about before. Omer Rav Yehuda, Omer Rav. Now we said that that's the Shita of Rabbi Yehuda, the Tana. He argues with Rabbi Shimon that says there's no such a thing as Nolad. But here we have Rav Yehuda, that's an Amora, many years later, in the name of his rabbi Rav, the earliest Amora, that says that this is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Masikin became ve'masikin b'shivikim divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Rav taught us this halacha in the name of Rabbi Yehuda that you can burn as firewood kalim, whole kalim that are muchan, that are not muktzeh, like a chair, for example, or whatever you want to use for firewood. But you can't use kalim that broke on Yom Tov because this new item I never had set for designated to use for usage before Yom Tov started. Only as Yom Tov came, that's nolad, something that's new here, and it's muktzeh. Div Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon matir. Rabbi Shimon says there's no such a thing as this muktzah, as nolad. You can do whatever you want with it. Masikin b'tmarim. So now we know about it in kalim, in vessels. Or begadim is also kalim, right? Clothing. But now he says the same thing again when he gets to food. Masikim b'tmarin. You can use dates as fire, fuel. Achlan, but once you ate them, ein masikim b'garinen. You can't light up a fire with the pits. Why not? Because what are the pits? The pits are nolad. Oh, suddenly, shalom aleichem. What's your name? I never knew about you. Oh, here, I'm a pit. I just was eaten around me. Now I'm here. Oh, you're good for firewood. No, it's muktzah. Yeah, what do you mean muktzah? It's Yom Tov. I want to use it for firewood. Yeah, but you didn't have this yesterday. This wasn't here yesterday. You didn't have a pit to use for firewood yesterday. So it seems to be like the same halacha. It's like shivrei kelim. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon matir. Now, next case, masikin be'egozim. You can use walnuts. Why not? Walnuts are muchan. Achlan, once you ate them, ein masikin beklipotein. You cannot use their shells that are around them. Why? Because they're broken, and that's nolad divri Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon Matir. So the question is, you told me shivrei kelim, you told me shivrei tmarim, you told me shivrei egozim. Why do you have to keep telling me? Why don't you give me another 50,000 examples of items? Just say, masikim b'kelim ve'em masikim b'shivrei kelim, divri Rabbi Yehuda v'shimon Matir, and now I know how to apply it to everything else. Utzricha, says the Gemara, no, I need all three. The Iyash me'inan kamaita, if I only teach you the first one about kelim, be'ahika amar Rabbi Yehuda mishum dimi kara keli v'hashta shever keli, I would say that's where Rabbi Yehuda said that at first it was a keli, now it's a new thing. It's a piece of broken wood from a chair. Shever. V'avalei nolad, so that's a new thing. V'astur. Aval tmarim dimi kara garin. V'hashta garinin. But there, the pit never broke. The pit was always a pit, and it still is that pit. It just wasn't available. Oh, that's already a bigger chidush to say that's also called shever keli. I would have thought that that's fine. So he has to teach you that it's not fine. Okay? Because at the end of the day, this pit was nolad, it was not available to you. So it wasn't muchan. The iyashminam garinin, and if you teach me the case of the pits of the tamarim, I could have thought, have amina de miikara michasyan, v'hashta migalyan. Okay? That first they were covered, and now they're revealed. So therefore I can understand that there's a nolad aspect. Because I didn't have any pits available. There was something around the pit. I couldn't get access to the pit. So now that I got the pit, that's a brand new creation. Mazal tov. Like a baby in the stomach. Nolad. He was there, but he wasn't nolad. Because he was covered. Okay, so now he's out. Same thing with the... So that's the chidush. But the shells around the walnuts, they were always here. So to say that they're nolad, that's the big, that I might have thought, it's not nolad. Tzricha, so I have to tell you that Rabbi Yehuda says, that's also nolad. Why is that nolad? Because yesterday they were holding, they were like subservient. They were tafel. They were secondary. They were holding up the egos. That was their purpose. So you allowed to move them. So they were prepared. But broken shards, even though they were here in front of me, maybe that's broken shards. That's nolad. That's the new thing. Okay, so that's okay. So the Gemara says, "V'hod Rav lav beferish itmar, ela michlala itmar." This that Rav said, that Rabbi Yehuda holds like this, even by tmarim, right? Wasn't that Rav said it, extended it to tmarim. It's just we will see from a story that we can understand from the story that happened with Rav, that Rav held that it applies to tmarim as well. What was the story? The Rav achal tmari, v'shoda kashyata lebuchya. Rav ate dates, and it was a regular weekday. There's no muktzah. And he threw the pits. Lebuchya is like some sort of type of kira, which is like an oven. Okay? So he threw the shells into the oven so that the oven can get more fuel. Amalei Reb Chia so Reb Chia, okay, now, nothing wrong, right? It's weekday. It's a random Yom Shlishi. So Reb Chia told him, Bar Pachti, son of a Talmud Chacham. We had that before. Kinegdo b'Yom Tov asur. Doing that exact story on Yom Tov, be careful, it's prohibited. Because Reb Chia was saying that we go like Rabbi Yehuda, and Reb Chia was saying that it applies not just b'shivrei kelim, but even b'tmarim, that where the pits were there yesterday, nothing broke, but since they were covered, it's nolad also. So the Gemara says, Kibla mineh or lo kibla mineh? Did Rav accept this halacha from him or not? Tashma, let's come and bring a proof. Dechiata Rav the Bava, because when Rav went to Bavel, Achal Tamri, he ate Tamri. Now this story actually took place on Yom Tov, Rashi says. He ate dates, Vishoda Kashata Lechiyuta, and he threw the shells to the animals, the pits. Thank you. The pits. My love, Bipasiata. Now, wasn't it talking about the Persian ones? Persian dates, Rashi learns, are very good. And they are very ripe. Since they're so ripe, you know what happens when you take off the date from the pit? It comes right off. It doesn't leave any sticky residue of the date itself on the pit. The pit is a clean pit. And now, all you have is pit. So what should he do with the pit? He should just leave it there on the table. No, he went and gave it to the animals. What's he touching it for? So you see that if it was those types of dates, that he did not accept this halacha. And he said, Tamarim are different. Even though Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda, that we had before, Tosfot points this out. Rav definitely goes like Rabbi Yehuda. By Kalim and Shivrei Kalim, he's going to hold of Nolad. But obviously he didn't accept from Rabbi Chia, if they were these Persian dates, which are high quality and they're very ripe, he did not accept this halacha that Garinim are also considered Nolad, born, and new, and not prepared before Yom Tov. Because they were always there. And the proof is, because on Yom Tov, he fed it to the animals. So the Gemara says, so obviously he didn't accept this halacha of Tamarim. The Gemara says, no. Ba'amiyata. They're actually Armenian type of like Arami Oved Avi. Coming up this week, right? In the Haggadah. Lavan Arami. Armenian dates. You know, Armenian dates. I don't know if you ever had them. I never did. But they do not ripen nicely, Rashi says. And every time you eat them, you know what happens? The pit ends up, there's a lot of leftover date left stuck onto the pit. Residue. So now, Hoyel v'chozi agavimayu, since they're still fit to be moved because of their mom, their mother. What does it mean, their mother? Their mother means their main part. The fruit is still on the pit. So therefore, we can assume that, of course, Rav did accept the ruling of Rav Chia. Because Rav Chia told him, and he never said anything. Okay? So if Rav never said anything back to Rav Chia, you can assume safely that Rav Chia, that he accepted it. The only reason why we thought he didn't is because we had another story that he actually fed the animals, and we thought it was Persian dates. It was, they were different type of dates, and they're still not muktzah at all, because the pits are still movable because they have fruit on them. That's what he threw to the animals. They're not muktzah at all. But what about if there would be just a clean date pit? Then we can assume that safely that he accepted Rabbi Chia's halacha when he told him, don't do that on Yom Tov. Therefore, that was the story from Chia that we were able to say, Rabbi Yehuda was able to say that Rav said that Rabbi Yehuda applies to Tmarim. Okay? Fine. Amalei Rav Shmuel bar Bachana Rav Yosef. Rav Shmuel bar Bachana told Rav Yosef, the Rabbi Yehuda the Omer Masikin beKelim ve'em Masikin b'Shivrei Kelim. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that you're not allowed to light Shivrei Kelim, Kivon the Adlik behu Purta Havalei Shivrei Kelim. V'chi kamahapech b'Yisur kamahapech. Just a very general question. Okay? What happens when you throw things into a fire on Yom Tov? You're allowed to make a fire. You don't just throw things in the fire and leave it. You move it around. So, probably this. What are you allowed to make the fire from? Kalim. Shivrei Kelim, things that broke on Yom Tov, are nolad, they're muktzah, you can't touch them. Okay, so I take the whole chair, I throw it in the fire. You don't just throw it in the fire, and then you move it around and this, and you stoke it in here and there and there. How are you doing that? Once it went to the fire, it breaks apart. It starts burning. Now it's Shivrei Kelim, it's nolad. Now it's muktzah. So how could you play around with the fire on Yom Tov? That's his question. Very basic question. So he says,
Sounds like a Tesla question.
it sounds like a Taisus question, right? It's a Gemara's kasha. It's Reb Shmuel Bar Bachano asked Rav Yosef, according to Rav Yehuda, Kivan the Adlik Behupurta, once you light it a little bit, Havale Shivra Kelim, turns Shivra Kelim. So when he turns it over upside down, he is now turning over prohibited items. So the Gemara answers the Avid Kid Rav Matna, the Rav Matna, Amar Rav Eitzim Shenoshim and Adekal Etana B'Yom Tov, Marbe Eitzim Muchanin Umastikon. This is a halacha in the beginning of Masechet Beitza. The Rav said that let's say you have branches that fall down from a palm tree right into your oven. That's perfect on Yom Tov. But the problem is that they're nolad because they were just born into branches, right? So they're muktzah. So how could you make a fire from them? You're going to be moving around the fire. So he says what you do is you take logs of firewood that are prepared and batal b'roiv. You put more of them into there and they're batal b'roiv. So that same eitzah you do for this. That's what Rav was trying to say in eitzah and beitzah for. It's the same thing basically. It's fallen branches over here. It's shivrei kalim. Same point. Muktzah items. So that's what you do. So that means that the question was right on target. It was on the money. And the answer is you have to be mevatel birov. So when we say masikin bekalim, very nice masikin bekalim. Make sure you have rov of good things there as well. Okay. Rav Amnuna Omar. Now Rav Amnuna wants to say another pshat in the Mishnah, not for the part of the Madlikin, but the Machloket about Tumah and Tahara. He says, we're actually talking about a rag that's less than 3 by 3. What? I thought the smallest patch is 3 by 3. This is less. This is 2, let's say. 2 fingers by 2 fingers. 2 fingers by 2 fingers. So it's not a beged. So how can it be tameh? Right? So he says, it brings us right now into a new world of Tumah V'Tara, a Mishnah, a Masechet Kelim. We're going to learn a Mishnah now. Learning Mishnayot, and we're going to see what this Mishnah holds. Rabbi Eliezer is Rabbi Eliezer of that Mishnah. Basically, there is a case that it can still be tameh. Because you're using umikule matloni ochanu. We're talking about rags that are light in his kule. What's kule? Light. They're light in his eyes. They're very, very not significant in his eyes. Okay? So, what's going on is like this. Let's see the Mishnah and then we'll understand everything. We already find a machlokas Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva elsewhere in Kelim about Tumah and Tahara, about a very interesting case. And there's another third opinion of the Rabbi Yoshua we'll see now. And that Rabbi Eliezer and that Rabbi Akiva, is this Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva the same exact thing? It's a new thing. It's like this. The Tanan. Pachot mishlosha shosha. שהתקינו לפקק בו את המחץ ולנער בו את הקטרה ולקנח בו את הריחיים. If you have a rag less than 3 by 3, but you designated it and you use it to stuff up a merchatz, a bath, okay? there were holes that the water would enter the bath through those holes, and you don't want any more, so you stuff it up. So you have a small little beged, but it's a good thing as a clogger. It clogs. Or l'na'er bo taktera. Basically, you want to hold the bottom of a pot and to shake it out into the tamchui, into this plate. So you use this rag, or to wipe down a mill. Okay? The kaner bo tarichaim. You want to wipe down the mill, so you use this thing. So beimin hamuchan uvein she'ein hamuchan tameh. Whether it is ready, like you prepared it properly for it, or whether you didn't, it's tameh. Now, what does that mean? You prepared it properly. We're going to see very, very soon. But the first opinion holds, is very strict. That's Rabbi Eliezer. He says everything's tameh. Rabbi Yeshua Omer, beimin hamuchan uvein she'lo hamuchan tahor. He's very lenient. He says, even if you designated it, it's going to be tahor. Rabbi Akiva Omer, min hamuchan tameh v'shelo min hamuchan tahor. Rabbi Akiva is like the middle. He says, look, if it's prepared, then you gave it significance, and now it's like a keli, so it's tameh. If not, it's tahor. He's not an extreme view. He's like the middle ground. So v'amar ula v'yitem Rabbi Bar Chana, Rabbi Yochanan. What does it mean, prepared and not prepared? Now, we're going to learn the way Rashi learns. Tosfot has maybe even a simpler way of learning the Gemara, but we're going to learn with Rashi. Rabbi Yochanan says like this: Hakol modim zarko b'ashva divrei hakol tahor. Everybody agrees. Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Akiva. If you threw this thing in the garbage, okay, obviously you threw it out. It's not tameh. It's not anything. I don't care what you used it for. You threw it in the garbage. So it's for sure tahor. It's not considered a vessel. Hinicho bekufsa, divrei hakol tameh. If you placed it inside a box, then you're revealing that to you it's very significant. You want to use it for one of these three types of jobs. Everyone would agree that it's tameh. Lo nechelku ela shetal'o b'magod o shehin nichu la'achori hadelet. The middle ground is like this. You hung it on like a hook, or you put it behind the door. Okay? Now, the question is, what did you mean? You had this in your hand, this rag. You wanted it out of your way. You threw it over there, on the hook or behind the door. So now, it's not putting it in a box to show that you want this. You put it in a box, like you're saving it. It's not throwing it in the garbage. It's like somewhere in the middle. So, by the way, between these two things, which is better? Hanging on a hook is better than throwing it behind the door. So now, Rabbi Eliezer Savar, I'm telling you how the way Rashi learns, Midlo Zorka ba'ashva, daiti iluye. Since I didn't throw it in the garbage, my mind is on it. Ve'amai kar lo shalom and amuchan. So why do I call it shalom and amuchan, not prepared? Since it's really going to be mekabel tumah because I really want it, you just say because the legabe kufsa lav muchanu. It means it's not prepared in comparison to placing it in the box, but it makes the cut. Now, the mukhan and the not mukhan of Rabbi Eliezer, he says, whether it's mukhan, whether it's not mukhan, it means like this: whether it's mukhan hung on the hook, and whether it's even less than that, thrown behind the door, that's lo mukhan. Okay? Sorry. Whether it's mukhan in a box, and whether it's not mukhan, hook or door, or behind door, it's tameh. That's Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Eliezer is taking both those middle categories, even though one's a little better than the other, and they're calling them shalom min ha-mukhan in comparison to the case that's mukhan in comparison to the box, and saying it's still a problem. because you're showing you want it. So why are you calling it not prepared? You are preparing it, putting it there to use it for one of these three things. So it's still a keli. It might not be something that you're going to wear, but it's still a vessel that you're going to use as something, right? Vessels don't have to be 3 by 3. You only need the number 3 by 3 to retain its status as a beged, a worn item. But a keli, a vessel that could contract tumah, could be as long as I want to use it for something. So the question is, so therefore, whether it's mukhan and I put it in a box because I want to use it, or whether I hung it, which is not mukhan in comparison to putting it into a box, or threw it behind the door, it's tameh. Okay? Rabbi Yeshua says that you didn't put it into a box, that you nullified it. Yeah, you just threw it on the hook because it was in your way. You threw it behind the door because it was in your way, but it's basically like throwing it in the garbage. So according to Rabbi Yeshua saying like this, whether it's mukhan, I'll do it the other way, whether it's not mukhan, which is the garbage, or the 2 middle cases that are mukhan. Why are you calling it mukhan? I thought you were saying it's tahor. It's not prepared. Because compared to the garbage, it's mukhan, but it still doesn't, nothing makes the cut. The bottom case of the garbage, plus the other two, they're also like the garbage. Even though they're better, they're mukhan. They're not enough mukhan. We call them mukhan. They don't make it. So he compares the 2 middle cases to the garbage. Rabbi Eliezer compares the 2 middle cases to the box. Rabbi Akiva, he says like this. Split the 2 middle cases. You know what mukhan and shalom mukhan is? Not box and then the 2 middle cases, or garbage and the 2 middle cases. No. The 2 middle cases themselves are called mukhan, and one is mukhan, one is shalom mukhan. Meaning, bitalo b'magod, if you hang it on a hook, savar Rabbi Eliezer, that's mukhan. That is already, you're planning to use it for one of these 3 jobs. That's like Rabbi Eliezer, it's tameh. Be threw behind the door, that's basically like the garbage, stuff like Rabbi Yeshua. Okay? So now, let's go back to our Mishnah. Our Mishnah said that Rabbi Eliezer says, Ptilat ha-beged, shekipla, v'lo yivava. So he says, it's tameh. So why is it tameh? He says, it's not talking about a wick that's 3 by 3. Okay? It's talking about something that is mekule matloniot, which means they're less than 3 by 3. And they're very insignificant in your eyes, less than 3 by 3. But what happened was, Rabbi Eliezer is going according to his opinion that even if you do anything with this thing, right, it still retains its status as tameh. Okay? Whether it's mukhan, whether it's not mukhan, it's always tameh. So that's why this beged is not going to become batel, and it's going to remain tameh. That's all he's saying. We're talking about something that he wanted to use for these things, so therefore they have a halachic status like a keli, and they're going to always remain tameh. Rabbi Akiva, on the other hand, he says tahor. Now the Gemara now says, V'hada be Rabbi Akiva l'gabei de Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Akiva retracted and went like Rabbi Yeshua and said, everything is tahor. Mimai, Omar Rabba midiktoni ptilata beged. Ma'iri detani ptilat ha-beged litni ptila shel beged. My ptilat ha-beged da'adayin beged hu. So, it says like this. It says ptilat ha-beged shekipla. It didn't say a ptila of a beged. It says ptilat ha-beged. The beged. Ptila, the beged's psila. Which means that it's still a beged, a little bit. And it's choshev in your eyes. Even though it's a little bit choshev in your eyes, for something, some usage, Rabbi Akiva says tahor. Who's that like? That's like Rabbi Yeshua. Because Rabbi Yeshua said, as long as something has any significance in your eyes, throw it behind the door, I don't care. It's always compared, even if it has significance in your eyes, as long as you throw it behind the door, or anything like that, it's tahor. And that's what Rabbi Akiva said in our Mishnah. Rabbi Akiva says it's tahor. So you see that Rabbi Akiva is saying that if you have a little bit of significance in your eyes, it doesn't make it tameh. It's going to be tahor, so we now know that Rabbi Akiva retracted. Okay? So, basically, this beged that we're talking about, ptilat ha-beged shekipla in our Mishnah, according to this last pshat, is what type of beged? Not a suit. It was this little rag that was less than 3 by 3, which you, let's say, gave it some sort of significance, and because you wanted to use it for something, like called ptilat ha-beged, the beged itself still had a little bit of chashivas in your eyes or something. Rabbi Akiva is going to go like Rabbi Yeshua, it says tahor, Rabbi Eliezer says tameh. Not a keli. Now, what does that have to do with the next machloket, madlikin and a madlikin? Nothing. Rashi says, that machloket will be like Rava's teretz before. Whether it's a separate machloket. Rabbi Eliezer says there's a gzeira that you have to light something that will light nicely. Since you didn't singe it before, you didn't burn it before, you're not allowed to light it because it might not light nicely. And Rabbi Akiva says no problem. Okay? What time is it now?
11:26 on.
I was going to go to the Baba Mishnah here, but I think that it's very late already. Well, it's very late. I'll be able to, Mr. Shem, catch it up. What?
Maybe do it tomorrow?
No, this goes very fast. And then the next stuff. I got to take him out tomorrow. Okay. So, we're going to do a Zoom tomorrow.
Yeah, in the morning.
So in the morning, everybody come into the Zoom. B'ezrat Hashem. We'll send it out. So you could ask questions. You could be there 7:30 sharp. B'ezrat Hashem.